Hail you beautiful people and welcome back to another Hey J Impressions. This time we're going to be looking at Octopath Traveler in a much deeper level than any other game I've covered on the channel. And the reason for that is I just find that this game lends itself very well to being broken down like this. So the last time I covered Octopath Traveler on the channel, it was just the demo, which was roughly, I don't even remember, it was quite a few months. It was like half a year ago that I played the demo, and I decided I need to buy this game. I loved it. If you actually want to go back to that impression video, it's going to be somewhere right here. You can click on that and go check it out. But today we're going to be focusing on chapter 1 of the Thief story, which his name escapes me at the moment. What's his name? The thief. Therion. Therion or Terion. If there's one thing you'll learn about me is I am terrible at pronouncing names or things in English, or even in French for that matter. But yeah, so Octopath Traveler is an 8-part story, each with unique characters that have their own first chapter, and eventually it looks like that's going to mingle. So on this channel, I'm going to be doing a video impression on each of the chapters because this is going to be the first time in a long time that I'm getting deeply invested in an RPG, and the story in Octopath Traveler is just looking so promising. I just want to share this experience with you guys as I go because it's just already so amazing. Like right now I've got what you see back there is the 3-hour prologue demo going. So if you haven't checked that out on the eShop already, do go ahead and download it because it lets you play the first 3 hours of the game any way you'd like. So you can start with any hero you like, and your save file will transfer over to the final version if you decide to go on and purchase it. So it's like getting a head start on the game. So in the last demo I played a little bit of the night story, and as well as, you know, some people call her the dancer, but I'm going to call her the prostitute because that's what she's doing for a career. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. Yes, she dances, but her services are more than that. So she's the prostitute, and one of my favorite stories so far. So anyways, the thief, let's talk about him. When I started this demo, I looked at all of the 8 characters, all their classes, and the reason I went to the thief first is because it reminded me right away of Locke from Final Fantasy VI, which was one of my favorite characters in the Final Fantasy franchise, so I gravitated towards that right away. It just looked very promising. So I finished it, I did the whole first chapter, and I actually took him out of town. I'm at like level 7 now, and I went off into the Hunter's town and met up the hunter, which is not what you're supposed to do. The game tells you go meet up with a scholar. But let's go over the thief's story. So the thief we don't know much about his past. We know that he has like a lot of fame. And by the way, before I get more into this, this is going to be very like spoiler heavy. So if you want to experience the story first, pause the video now, go play the game, come back after you played it, and let's share our thoughts on it, because that's what the point of this is going to be. So yeah, so we don't know what's going on right now. He has some kind of past where he seems to be like against like friends and partners, and they show us a little bit of that in his past, but we don't know what happened to his partner or what happened there. It sounds like he was betrayed because he's very like against partnering with anyone new, like those new thieves that came into town and were like, hey, let's go rob this mansion. So my theory on what's happened there is that he either got screwed over by his partner or he feels responsible for something bad that happened to his partner, whether that partner died or got captured or something like that. I'm just realizing there's a lot of light coming into here right now, so bear with me, I don't have my light kit. Then what else do we have? So yeah, he goes into the mansion, gets pretty much owned by a butler, and I say owned loosely because you do win the fight, but then you get like this weird bangle on your arm, which like is like a shame, which really I don't understand, because a bangle is something that you can easily take off. So I don't understand how he feels so obligated to follow the butler and this lady of the house's orders. Like what is it that this bangle does that he can't undo it himself? Like, the guy's a thief, you can't cut that stuff off. What's the butler gonna do? Is there a key on there? So that's a little bit of a loose story point, or I'm just not understanding the concept of a bangle accurately, but I feel like that's a bit of a loose plot point. But very cool how he gets ensnared, and now he's kind of roped into finding these dragon stones. So we learn that, you know, the house has 4 dragon stones that were all stolen. The butler brought one back, and now there's 3 out in the world that the thief has to go and get. And this is, again, coming in from the point of view, and this is what's so great about this story, is every player is going to be playing Octopath. We're all coming in from different perspectives of the story. So I don't know anything about the other characters' story. So I don't know if the Dragon Stones have been mentioned in the other stories yet. But this is my first time, interacting or learning about these Dragon Stones. So are they going to play a bigger part in the whole story? What do they actually do? Do they have some kind of mystical power? The butler makes a few reference to it that it's worth more than anything that you can imagine. So I imagine that these gemstones are going to be major plot points, at least for the thief. But it seems like it's going to even play further into the main storyline, but I don't even know what the main storyline is at this point. Like, literally, all I know is that there's a thief with his cool story. I kind of know the prostitute's story. And the king I didn't play the knight I didn't play too much of, because after playing the prostitute's story, I was already so invested. I want to wait for the game's release to experience everything slowly and properly. So for the story, yeah, I'm really intrigued into where this is going to be going, because I'm already sold on the thief story. Like, pretty good story so far. Now, in terms of, let's talk about gameplay of the thief. Really cool. I was very surprised about the sword and the dagger gameplay. Usually the thief in RPGs is kind of exclusive to daggers, either like daggers or throwing. So it's really interesting that they let this thief have swords and shields and helmet, like in terms of equipment. So like, this is like my idea as a child, like when I was younger, this would have been my ideal setup of being able to have like the thief's ability along with like more knight kind of equipment, which is like the sword, the helmet, the shield. That you don't usually get that in the RPGs I played, or at least the Square Enix RPGs. So yeah, I feel like from a gameplay perspective, the thief is just really interesting. His steal mechanic, that you can steal everything in town, feels really overpowered. Like, you can literally walk up to anybody and just steal. And at least in the first town, everything is 100% like success rate, which you can get so much money. Like, the first thing I did as a thief is I went to buy stuff, and I ran out of money after buying like black attire and a dagger. And I realized really quickly, once you can steal stuff, you can sell all that. And, well, actually, you can steal all the best gear you need, but you can also make so much money just from stealing and selling. So money doesn't even seem like that big of a problem for the thief, at least not at the beginning. Eventually, I assume there's going to be a lot more consequences, or a lot more lower percentages of successes on who you're stealing. Other than that, the boss fight in Chapter 1 of the Thief was it was easier than the prostitute's boss. Prostitute's boss killed me because I was way under leveled. This time I was a little bit more prepared. I realized really quick that you do not focus on killing the soldier in the butler fight, because he's just going to respawn anyways. So yeah, what I did is I killed the soldier first, and then I started wailing on the boss, and then the soldier came back, and I was like, okay, well, it's just going to be a waste of time if I focus killing off the soldier just to get like 2-3 free rounds on the boss. So I just focused on the butler, killed him, and then it was just that, like, I had used up all my healing potions. I was down to just me and the soldier, and we were pretty much going shot for shot, and I was trying to like time all of my what do you call that, the charge shots, so that I could like interrupt him and then smack him as much as I can. Like, it was so tight. I was down to 20 HP and the soldier does 20 damage, and luckily I won with my last hit. So that's me in my typical RPG gameplay, where I don't grind enough to get up, like to get my characters in a nice safe zone, and I don't buy a lot of items because I just fly too much through the story. I just want more story that I don't take time to prepare properly. So that was a really close call, but it was a fun fight. I've had forgotten a little bit of the Octopath Traveler battle system, how it works. Like, the music is so good. Oh, the music, we gotta talk about the music. But yeah, I just love the combat. Like, when you're charging up and like they go Super Saiyan, and I like, it sounds Super Saiyan. They're like, it just sounds so good. And then like, you get all these blows. And so yeah, I love the mechanics so much. The visuals I love so much. I just can't talk enough about how much I love this game and everything about it. The music in this game, I'm going to be getting the soundtrack, and I can see myself listening to this so much after I've beaten the game. Like, just in the Thief's story, there's the tavern theme that plays is just so catchy. It's just like an acoustic guitar and some other instruments. I can't recall what it is right now. I'll probably play it right now. No, we might. Yeah, I'll play it right now. guys can hear it. Of course, I'm not hearing it. But that was my favorite in chapter 1 of The Thief. So the next one that I'm going to be going and covering on this channel is either going to be the Huntress or the Scholar. So I really wanted to do the Scholar's story next, but somehow through my adventuring, I ended up in the Huntress's village. And now I'm going through her chapter 1 story, and I'm going to be running out of my 3-hour demo time really soon. But the next video is Hunter, and then I would really like to get to the Scholar, which is where the Thief story is supposed to go. So if you haven't already, do sub to the channel, like the video if you did, and I'll be back with another Octopath impression video on our next hero, most likely the Hunter. I'll see you guys then. Until then, keep it classy.